everyone, I'm Lindsay, also known as My Crafty Plans, and today I'm so excited to be partnering with Zebra Pen to talk about one of my favorite planner topics, and that is color coding and time blocking in your planner to help increase your productivity and create more free time to do fun things. I'm going to be showing you how you can use some of your favorite Zebra Pen products to color code and time block in whatever planner you're using. Or if you don't have a planner, that's okay, just grab a notebook. So grab some Sarasa clips, some mild liners, and some click art pens, and let's get planning. So before we dive into how we're going to structure our planners, our schedule, and our to-do list for time blocking, let's talk about the supplies we're going to need first. Of course, I've got a number of different Zebra pens and markers in fun colors here, which we will look at in just a second, but you're of course going to need some kind of planner to structure out your day. The planner layouts that work for this are anything with a built-in time schedule. So a weekly, hourly planner or a daily planner is going to be your best bet for time blocking. Any brand will do for this. And if you don't have an hourly or a daily planner handy and you still want to try this out, that is absolutely no problem. Just grab a notebook and you can actually draw your own weekly or daily planner spread that's perfect for time blocking. So I have a weekly spread here and a daily spread right here that's structured with everything I need. I've already got my to-do list pre-divided up. We're gonna circle back to that in just a second. And if you wanna see more of how I set up these time blocking bullet journal spreads, you can head over to Zebra's Instagram and my Instagram at MyCraftyPlans to check out some speed plan with me's with this. But basically, whether you're drawing the spread in or you're using a structured planner, what you wanna look for is something with an hourly schedule on it and something with a space for to-do listing. So now that we've got our planners, we of course are gonna need some pens and markers. With the way that I'm gonna structure my planner, I'm gonna need 3 different colors for color coding, plus a black pen for writing, because that is what I like to write with. Speaking of which, we can just start with that. This is the Zebra Sarasa clip. It comes in a variety of colors. It also comes in black, and this happens to be my absolute favorite pen. I use this pen every single day. It's my main writing pen. If you check out any of my YouTube Plan With Me's, you will see me writing with this pen all of the time. So that is my main black writing pen. I've also got a Zebra mark-on in here. Sometimes we're going fast, we want to highlight right away, and this pen is instant dry. So you can write down with this and then immediately highlight on top of it, and it's going to be completely smear-free. So it's a really cool pen. So we've also got that one here. And then I also have a click art in black, which is also instant dry like the mark-on, but it just gives a really bold look. That's the pen that I use to do the larger lettering and also to draw in the bolder lines here. I've also got click art pens and Sarasa clips for each of my 3 colors so that we can use those in the spreads as well. And I've also got a bunch of Zebra mild liners and mild liner brush pens in the colors that match so that we can also do some highlighting to keep things sorted in the planner. So with our supplies all ready to go, let's dive in and talk about how to structure our planner. We're gonna start with the weekly spread, and I'm just gonna dive in and talk you through my process here. The very first thing that I'm going to do is actually start with blocking in any time-specific things that I do throughout the day, throughout the week. So both things that are every day, like when I have to drop the kids off at camp and pick them up from camp, which is actually where I'm gonna start. And then also if I have any meetings or appointments scheduled throughout the week, I like to get those down first, typically before I start my to-do list. It just helps me see how much free time that I have throughout the week. So I am going to use my color coding even in this. Now, do I consider dropping the kids off at camp an errand? No. But it is something that is out of the house, and I frequently, if I am going to run errands, will tackle that on to the drop-off process. So I will go right from dropping off the kids at camp to my errands. I'm already out of the house, I'm already in the car. So instead of having to run out later when I'm in the flow of work or whatever it is I may be doing, I'm already out of the house and I'm not interrupting anything. So we're gonna put that in. That is a Monday through Friday type thing. I'm just gonna offset where I write the pickup just a little bit because I just think it looks nice when you do it like that. I could, of course, put it on Monday, pickup, also always at the same time. And I'm just using the click art pen in the black to write that in. Nice bold look. I like to go really bold when I'm writing in the drop off and pickup, not because I need to remember it. I drop the kids off and pick them up at the same time every day. Without a planner, I would still remember to do it, but it really helps me section off my day. This is the time of day that I have to work on projects, that I have to work on work, to run errands, all of the various things that are easier to do without having the kids in tow have to be handled in this space of time. And then in the mornings and particularly in the evenings, things get very kid focused. I'm gonna grab the Sarasa Clip pen in this teal color, which is going to be my around the house color. I'm sticking with the same color scheme of how I set up the bullet journaling spreads. It's just gonna be easier for me to keep the colors straight that way. You can, of course, change your mind. And typically what I'll do is I'll pick a color scheme for the week and then kind of stick to that in both a weekly spread and a daily spread, or I'll pick like a couple of key colors if I'm not going full on color coding, and then at the end of the week I will change my colors out. That way I can mix things up, and of course Zebra has so many fun colors, so you have lots of options to work with. So I'm gonna write in my morning routine right up here at the top, and I am not gonna list out in my weekly planner the things that I do every day. We'll do that when we get to a daily spread, but I am going to leave space because there are certain days of the week where I might tack on something else, like particularly on a Thursday, which is the day that I usually wash the bedding. So I want to just make sure I leave space to kind of write those things in. But in my daily planner, you know, it just depends on what kind of mood I'm in for today. So I can show you, I will show you how I add in all of the elements to my morning routine and track that in a lot of detail. So this actually goes through, it's a bit different on the weekend, so we might even just write weekend morning routine. And actually on Saturday, we're gonna go to the beach. So just while we're here, I'm just gonna write in one of my favorite phrases, which is up and go, because basically we just wake up really early and just drive right down to the beach. Those are the things that kind of happen every single day. The in between the days look a little bit different. In the afternoon, we've got like a kiddo routine that we run through in the afternoon, but I'm gonna leave that space free because I think I'm gonna need some of it. And then certain days of the week, we do have activities. But what I do want to leave space to put in, and again, I'm going to use the around the house color, and I'm going to use the mild liner brush pen for this one, and I'm actually going to grab the bullet tip on the back of that. I love the bullet tip on the back of the mild liner brush pen, and what I'm going to do is I am going to just highlight the lines around 6 p.m., which is when we have dinner. And one of my favorite things to do when I'm using a weekly hourly planner is to just block off that time to put our dinners in throughout the week. I'm gonna skip over Thursday because Thursday night, we eat dinner with the kids pretty much every night of the week, including on the weekends. But on Thursdays, my husband and I eat dinner after the kids have gone to bed, and we usually order takeout. So that is our little Thursday tradition. Oops, have a little wobble with the ruler there. It's okay. We can get that all covered up just with a little bit of white out. So that will leave me space, and I can write in my dinners throughout the week. I do meal planning. I do typically know them all in advance, and we will add that in just a minute. Then the kids usually go to bed around 7:30, 8, and I like to leave this space at the bottom there. I don't usually put in their bedtime, but I like to leave space at the bottom there. And what I'll put in this bottom section is just whatever my husband and I do in the evening Thursday, and I'm actually just gonna use the mild liner brush tip to make like a fun little squiggly swatch here, just kind of coloring in with the brush tip here. And that's just a fun way to like add something into your planner, and then we can write on top of that. And this is takeout and TV night. And I've just got my regular Sarasa clip for this one. So that's like kind of all of the everyday things blocked into the planner. Still using that color coding system just helps you keep it separated in your brain, especially if you are newer to color coding and newer to time blocking. That's really helpful. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in in some regularly scheduled meetings, appointments, things I know in advance. I will add to this throughout the week. The way I use a weekly planner is I do a big pre-planning session or a big week ahead session at the beginning of the week or even late in the week before. So like Sunday or Monday, I'll sit down and set this up through the week, but I will leave blank spaces in here so that I can go back and add to it throughout the week. So you might see, if you watch one of my regular weekly planning routine videos over on my YouTube channel, you'll see that like Monday and Tuesday look almost completely full when I set the beginning of the week, but there's a lot of empty spaces Thursday, Friday, etc., because I want to see what I get done. But I do have a couple of meetings and different things booked already for the week, and also some kid activities that I'm going to add in. So first up, I'm going to put in the kids activities here. On Thursday, the kids have piano lessons. Now, this one is technically, I would guess, around the house, but I don't really have to be super engaged with it, just have to be generally around, and I'm gonna just use the black marker for the kids' activities. I could, of course, add another color in for specifically for kids stuff. Sometimes I do that, especially on my monthly spreads. I really like to do that, but it's not necessary. And I could also use the around the house color for this. You know, sometimes less is more, especially again, if you are just getting started with this, you don't need to necessarily overcomplicate things. Okay, so the kids have piano lessons on Thursday and then likewise on Wednesday. And I'm just gonna mark that slightly different. No real particular reason why, but just because they're right next to each other. So on Wednesdays, and this one is actually just for my oldest, she has a reading tutor that comes on Wednesday and does reading practice with her. All right, so that is all done except for that I didn't put a G on that word reading. So that's all the kids stuff that we've got going on during the week. Camp is really fun and busy, and the kids come back from it exhausted, so we do have less activities during the summer than we do during the school year. I do have a couple of appointments, meetings, and exercise classes that I'm signed up for throughout the week. So I am gonna just go ahead and put that stuff in. And for that, I am going to use the purple if it's out of the house, which is my errands color, out of the house color, and my blue if it's a work meeting or any kind of meeting where I'm gonna be at my desk, because that'll help me assign my task list to specific days. Because if I'm already working on a bunch of stuff at my desk, for me, I like to just stay at my desk then and hang out there and work on other things. Particularly like if I had 2 meetings that were about an hour apart or something like that, which I do believe I have on Tuesday, I could schedule computer work time in between that. That way I'm just still at my desk straight through. For you, you might find that you might need to take a break from your desk. And if that works better for you, then you should make sure you schedule yourself a break. But for me, I find that it works better to just stay at my desk. And likewise, on Thursdays, I'm out and then I have yoga at 9:30. So this is like a really key errands time right there. So as I said, on Tuesday, I have a short meeting at 2:30. So I'm just gonna use the little square here and I'm gonna color that in. And then I have a longer meeting that is from 12:30 to 1:30. So there's lots of different ways you can mark things. You can use boxes, which you can draw in either with a stencil or just using a ruler, or even freehand if you're brave. You can squiggle behind something. I think it looks really cute when you do that. You can just mark the time with the highlighter. I particularly like if you want to be able to see the time using the highlighter, because then I can still see it. And you can use the combination of highlighters with black ink, or you can use the color pens. So I think that's actually all I know in advance. One of the reasons that I particularly love time blocking is because this is a very typical looking week for me. I have something I do every single day that segments my day into family time and me time, and then I have a couple of things scheduled throughout the week, but for the most part, I have a very unscheduled day, and time blocking is my favorite way to make sure I am still productive every day and getting things done, plus having some free time. Basically, I just book up my days and make appointments with myself and then try and honor that, and it keeps me really moving throughout the day and getting things done, even though I have some days that are completely unscheduled and huge chunks of time every day that are unscheduled. So now that that's set up, up, what we're going to actually do is set up our to-do list so that way we can start booking in those appointments with myself. All right, so let's work on that sidebar. This sidebar is the to-do listing space that's off to the side that's not on a specific day on a weekly planner. In this hourly planner here, it's on the left-hand side before Monday. On the spread that I drew for myself, I put it on the right-hand side of the page after Sunday. I don't really have a strong preference either way. That's just kind of how I drew it in. I did use some whiteout to cover up the top here, so I'm just gonna grab a sticker. I just grabbed teal because it matches. Teal is my around the house color, but we're gonna put lots of different things in this list, and we are actually going to segment off the list here. So I'm just gonna call this tasks. To do works too, anything really works, but I just like a nice short word so that I can write it really big. I am going to start my list up at the top with my out of the house list. Essentially, this is errands. There are lots of different ways to track to-dos in your planner. I think we have 3 different sections of our to-do list here, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and use 3 different ways just so you can see. And this one, because I'm gonna just try and squeeze 2 lines of writing up at the top here, so the spacing is not gonna be exact, I'm gonna use my easiest method for making a to-do list. So for every to-do list item, I'm just gonna draw a little dashed line, and then I'm gonna write in the task. And then once I accomplish them, I can just go ahead and turn it into a plus, and then that will mean that it's done. So here are the errands that I have for this week. One thing that is so fun about using all of these zebra ends together is how well all of the colors match and how there is a color match for just about every color. So here is my purple, and the click art pen is a different tip size. It looks so close in color to the zebra Sarasa clip. So that's just really, really fun. Next thing we can do is the at my desk list. I feel like the list that is the longest in my sidebar is usually the at my desk, because around the house, there's a lot of stuff that I do like every day that I won't put into a weekly sidebar. Like every single day we try and pick up the kids' toys with their help. And every day I make my bed. I usually won't even put in things like laundry or anything like that to my weekly sidebar. I will specifically schedule that on a day, and that definitely always goes in my daily planner. So for this one, I'm gonna use a stencil and just do some open check boxes. That way they're real easy to check off. I'll start with 4, and then we'll see what else I need to do. All of this stuff is gonna be things I need to do at my desk, but it's not all for the same area of life. So there are some work tasks here for my freelance business. There are some things here for my channels. There are some things here that are just kind of life admin. So there's just all kinds of different random things. I would also put in this category, like if I knew I needed to book kids' doctor's appointments or doctor's appointments for myself, anything where I'm gonna have to call, that also goes in this category. And if you work a like very traditional 9 to 5 job where you're in the office every day, or you have like very set work hours, it may make sense for you to have a completely separate planning system for that period of time or for work, and to separate that as a category. But because my day is so scattered and split between so many categories, it makes much more sense to my schedule to categorize things by where I'm doing them and how I'm doing them, rather than what or why they're for. Okay, so I just listed out everything, and now I'm gonna go back and add in. I think that's all of the stuff I have throughout the week. Of course, if anything else comes up, I would just add it throughout the week. I would just add it in directly on one of the days or in my daily planner, just because there's limited sidebar space and I'm probably gonna reach to the end of this. Sometimes, depending on the week, I will leave a little bit of extra space, but you know, the sidebar also is a great place to put a habit tracker and different things like that. So depending on how many tasks I have in the around the house, I might have space to add in a habit tracker or something like that. So I wrote in this with the darker blue color, and now I'm gonna highlight over it with the lighter blue color because I think that will look really cool. And it does. So that is my at my desk list. The last list here will be in teal, and this is my around the house. And as I mentioned, I'm not gonna put in anything that is like a regular do it all the time kind of thing. So I always meal prep the kids' lunches on Sundays and Wednesdays. So I'm gonna put that in on those specific days. I'm not gonna waste the sidebar space. I always make my bed every morning. I'm not even gonna write that down in this weekly planner. I'm only gonna write it down in my daily planner. It's also like a really great place to put cleaning projects or things like that. So if I was working on a deep clean of some specific area of the house, that's a great place to put in a weekly routine. Basically, I use the sidebar to put in any of the things that aren't things that I do like every day or every week, but I'll use the weekly space and the daily space for those more regular tasks. So I think for this one, I will box it in the same way that I did the top one, just really liked the way that that looks. And then we have just a teeny bit of space here. So let me show you really quick, just one of my favorite ways to make a habit tracker. So you can just write in your habit, which I am gonna say for my habit this week, one of my favorites, which is getting to bed on time. And then what I'm gonna do is I'll actually grab that around the house color, and you can pick any of the ways that you drew in your check boxes, which I'm just gonna do this with the mild liner, and so instead of grabbing a habit tracker sticker or drawing in anything formal, I just have a super, super quick habit tracker right there. And I could actually even do one more and use that Sunday, Monday. So then that is the sidebar there. So then what we need to do is think a little bit strategically about our day, and we're gonna just block in some periods of time to work on specific things. I'm just gonna go ahead and start strong with Monday. On Mondays, I actually have a bit of work that I do for my freelance business that I do every Monday morning. So that's actually the first thing that I'm gonna do. It typically takes me about 90 minutes to do. And then after that work task is done, one of my favorite things to do at that time of day is then to sit down with my planner. So I'm gonna grab the mark-on pen, that way I can write and then highlight. So then I'll typically spend about 30 minutes to 45 minutes or so just with my planners. I'm already at my desk and it's still early on Monday, so I feel like that's the perfect time to get all set up for the week. So again, I use that mark-on so that I can highlight right immediately after writing. The regular Sarasa clip is still totally perfect and great for highlighting. It just takes a couple extra seconds to dry versus the mark-on, which is instant dry. After that, I will be hungry, so I can have a little lunch break. Then I have the afternoon free. We'll of course schedule more stuff in there, but that's not what I'm gonna do right now. Right now, I'm gonna focus on the time periods where it really makes sense to schedule something in because of what I've already got scheduled in. So, for example, in between these two work calls, that's gonna be the perfect time to do admin or other work stuff. Probably I'm gonna want like a little mental breather from the work stuff because these two work calls are actually on different topics, so need a little bit of a palette cleanser. So working on things that I could quickly accomplish from my admin list, like I could do the printing, I could get my my exercise classes scheduled for next week, but I'm just gonna call that admin. I'll pick the task and I can just pick something from my list to work on right then. Then likewise, on Thursday, when I have yoga, this is going to be the perfect time for errands. So I'm actually going to do a couple of different things here. One, I'm going to grab the back of that mild liner brush pen and draw in a line. I'm actually going to run errands before and after yoga, just because I feel like there is a lot of errands this week. So first up, before, and here I'm gonna think kind of locationally. So I said that I had to do dry cleaning and go to the library. They are, one, really close together, and two, really close to where I drop the kids for camp. So I'm going to do those before I go to yoga. And then after yoga, what I think I'm gonna try and do is I get my pedicure, and I'm gonna add a little star in here just as a reminder that I still need to book that because I do like to make an appointment. And then after that, I can go to Trader Joe's. I was gonna say go right to Trader Joe's, but if I'm gonna go and get a pedicure and buy a bunch of frozen stuff at Trader Joe's, that probably makes sense to do in the other order. And then I can also pick myself up something fun for lunch. So immediately after that, I will have lunch. What a fun Thursday. So those are the general periods of time that I can block in things. It makes sense based on what appointments I've already got scheduled in. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at my to-do list and set some blocks of time to work on particular projects that are just a little bit more loose and flexible. So for example, I know that when I get back from like a really fun morning like that, I'm not gonna wanna be at my computer, but that's a great time of day or a great time of the week to work on some of those house projects that I have. So I'm just gonna go ahead and highlight in that I intend to work on house projects in that time. And because that's all the way on Thursday and it's only Monday right now, I'm not gonna schedule in what that actually is. I will come back, and when we're a little bit closer, I will schedule in what that is. In this video, I will make sure you get to see the full completed weekly spread, but for right now, I'm gonna skip that. And then likewise, just looking at what I've got going on work-wise, I know I'm gonna need another really solid work block to work on the work projects that I have. And based on what that work is, I know that I'm gonna need one kind of midweek, which after my calls would be a perfect time to work on things. So I am gonna do a big work session on Monday morning until lunchtime. And then likewise on Friday after that call, I think I will also book in some work time. I like to try and leave Fridays as free as possible. A little bit of a fun Friday attitude, but also my best productive time, especially when it comes to some of my freelance business stuff, is always going to be in the morning. So I am really cognizant of that, and I do like to schedule in some mornings for work, and it just this week it's going to make sense to do on Friday. That should be plenty of time to get all of the work stuff done. I think I'll probably need a little bit more house time, and I think probably after all of my morning stuff, I won't really want to do any more work stuff, and I'll probably want to take like a longer lunch break on Monday because that'll be fun, and then we can just do a little bit of house stuff in the afternoon there. Then I think I'll be able to fit all of my weekday errands onto Thursday, so I'm not going to schedule another out of the house session, but what I am going to do is schedule one for on the weekend because that is our other main errands running day. We kind of play Sundays by ear a little bit, though probably the errands will happen in the early afternoon. And then actually, this kind of becomes my Sunday usual, which is we're gonna get groceries. And then I'm going to lunch prep, camp prep, and meal plan for the week. And then I'm gonna make dinner. And also we'll definitely need to do some laundry. So then I did say that I wanted to wash the sheets on Thursday. So let's go ahead and mark that in. So this is my morning routine space, and here I'm gonna put in extra for Thursday, just using a little squiggly star to wash the bedding. And actually, likewise, I am gonna do on Tuesday, similar to that, I am gonna say to do some editing. So you can just add in like little extra tasks. You can add in to-do lists right throughout your week, or you can just block off the time to save it for later. So that is my little pre-weekly setup. I'm going to come back with this spread all finished out, what it looks like at the end of the week, and then we're gonna break down an individual day so I can show you that more detailed way of splitting up your schedule and your to-do list using a daily planner. All right, so here is how the week looks all finished out, how I made use of the rest of the space throughout the week. You can see in some of the places I left blank, I might have added in a to-do list, and some of them I ended up just putting what specifically I was working on. And you can also see how I got a little bit flexible with the time and moved things over without having to white out or erase or cross out anything through the week. For example, my call ran a little bit long, so I didn't have that much admin time, so I just moved that down to Wednesday afternoon. So that is my full week all time blocked out and color coded to match with my to-do list. So I'm gonna push this off to the side and we're gonna zoom in on one day. It would be fun to actually go ahead and use that bullet journaling spread that I created for the daily. That way we can get really in detail with the schedule here, and the to-do list is already segmented off and all set up. So let's go ahead and use this to plan out a day. I'm gonna stick with the same color scheme, and likewise with how I started the weekly plan with me, I'm just gonna go ahead and block in my time time sensitive items right in here. So the way that I've set up the time blocking section over here is I've written down the numbers on every other line, so that gives me half-an-hour increments to work with, provided that I write extra tiny because it is a 5mm dot grid bullet journal in here. And this notebook is actually B5 size. It's not, A5 is a much more common bullet journal size, but this one is a little bit bigger. For the daily pages, I don't really think it matters either way, but because I was also drawing in the weekly spread in here, I decided to go with one of my larger notebooks. The first thing that I'm going to put in is the camp pickup and drop off, which I frequently write as carpool in my planner, although it's, I guess, not technically carpool because it's only my kids. Now, I don't have any meetings or anything else that is already scheduled in today, so we've just got a wide open schedule to go ahead and block in some to-do lists. So I'm gonna add in some things to my to-do list, and then we'll kind of get to blocking out any time that I want. So I have some work that I need to do today. And then one thing that I really like to do, especially with a wider sidebar space here, is that if a to-do has a follow-up or like a dependent task, I will actually go ahead and put it on the same lines. So in my freelance business, I do a lot of writing, and then I get things back from an editor and then have to go through those edits. So I have a draft of something due today, and I will probably get that done in the morning, and then in the afternoon I will have edits back from an editor, and after I have them back, I can go through my edits. So then next up, for around the house, chores that I need to take care of. I'm gonna do 2 loads of laundry today, so I'm gonna give myself 2 check boxes for that. That way I can check them off for each load. And then that's what I'm gonna put to get started with, and I'm sure as I'm going through my schedule for the day, some more stuff will come up that I can add to it. Here in the top box is where I'm going to write in morning routine, and we can add in some detail to exactly what that means. 4 morning routine components that I do every single day are: I make my bed, I prep the kids' lunches, which are pre-made in the fridge. I just have to assemble lunch boxes. We do like a quick little 5-minute tidy right before we leave. And then we do another one in the evening. And then we do camp prep. So this encompasses a lot of things. During the year, I call it school prep. And then there's just some slight differences because of camp supplies and school supplies are not exactly the same. So I'll pack up their towels and their bathing suits, get them absolutely covered in sunscreen, and then we will head out the door. But because I want to unload the dishwasher today, so that is something that is not every morning on my morning routine, but I will do that while I am drinking my coffee, while I'm in the kitchen, getting them breakfast after breakfast snack, and also getting their lunches ready. So I will do the dishes then. And if possible, before we leave, if I have enough time, I will also go ahead and get that first load of laundry started. Then likewise, I'm gonna skip over that middle section for just a second there. We can also put in the afternoon routine. And again, I did just grab that mark-on pen so I can just go ahead and highlight right away on that. So when we get home, I get their camp bags all unpacked. I will also get them all snacks and situated. We'll hang out for a little while. I will also try and finish up the laundry and make sure that I get everything put away. The kids can help with that. Then the kids will have their TV time. I will prep dinner. Then we will have dinner. Then we read. We do a last tidy up as well, and then they go to bed, and then we have our evening. I think we're probably gonna have a TV night tonight. And then we have the bedtime routine, which is basically my whole dental care, and then skincare, and then reading. And then lights out, 10 p.m. Add in just like a little touch of an accent color to these. Just super fun. I'm not using this as like a cross through highlight. I don't know, I just really like that. I think it looks really cool. Fun to mix it up. So that is my everything that I'll do in the morning and the evening. So now let's tackle the chunk of time that I have in the house kid-free and all of the things that I want to accomplish for the day. I need to go get gas. We can say and coffee. Should not add too much time to my carpool. I bet I can still be back by about 9:30, which is great because then I can run this whole, which would be great if I had used the right color. So let's just grab my handy dandy white out and we'll mark it on the other side of the page. It can be my little secret. So we're gonna go from 9:30 to about 12. This will be what I need for work, approximately. Again, this is not meant to be, some days I will set a timer if I'm like working on a bunch of different things at once. I will actually go ahead and give myself a timer to change tasks, but this I need to get over to editing. So if it takes 15 minutes shorter, I have an extra 15 minutes. If it takes 15 minutes longer, I lose an extra 15 minutes. So that's just how that's gonna work. When that's done, as soon as I get that submitted over, I am gonna go and just have some lunch. And I will just take a quick lunch break today. I won't have a ton of time, but while up and about around the house, I can change over the laundry. Oh, and I just realized I also forgot to say, you know, I'm also gonna need to defrost the meat. Since this is so close to the edge and so close to the time, I'm just gonna go ahead and use a little doodly arrow to move that into my morning routine as well. Then in the afternoon, I will be back at my desk here at a much more relaxed pace, and I can tackle my edits. Then after I'm done my edits, I will do my admin and email stuff that I need to do and all of the scheduling. So let's do, I want to do the lighter blue highlighter with the darker blue pen for writing because I think it looks really cool. And then I can probably do the last laundry swap right before I leave. That way it'll be ready when I get back. That way when I'm down here, wherever I put that, I can finish that up by putting everything away. So that is what my day looks like, and that is how I go with having absolutely no schedule and just a to-do list to having a fully scheduled day that keeps me really productive, makes sure that all of my work gets done on time, and also makes sure all of my household chores get done. This section down here I can just use for any follow-ups that I need to take over to another day later in the week, and we've just got this little section down at the bottom, which is the perfect place. You could do daily gratitude, a little quote box, you could put a meal down there, some kind of checker, however you want. What I'm gonna write is, how am I feeling today? And then after watching this whole video, hopefully you know how I am feeling. And I do love lettering with the click art pens. Super, super fun. And hopefully after watching this video, you've got some good ideas to help get yourself organized too. I hope you enjoyed planning with me. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to Zebra and also to my channel at My Crafty Plans if you want to check out some more planning videos. You can also head over to Zebra's Instagram and my Instagram at My Crafty Plans for even more pen and marker fun and creative planning ideas. Thank you so much to Zebra again, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye!